Hey everyone, good morning. It's a beautiful day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to go over a scenario of bad parts and how they can drive you insane. Let me show you what I'm working on here. So I got this older Toyota 3-liter V6. It came to me, got towed in, died while driving. That's the older style one. It actually has a distributor. And what happened was he was driving it and it just shut down. So I get to looking at it and I see it's got no spark. All right. So I go through a series of tests. Let me run through that real quick with you. Now the series of tests has you check out the pickup coils that are inside this distributor. This distributor has 3 pickup coils. And what they do is basically they take the place of the cam sensor, the crank sensor, and whatnot. And so it has you ohm them out. So I ohm out all 3, through the plug right there. And they are all within spec. They're a little to the high side, but not even close to being out of spec. But okay. So I do all of that, everything tests out fine. Then it has you come over here. Here's the coil right here, this piece. And this is what's called an igniter. That's kind of like the ECU for the ignition system. Now, it has you go through a series of tests. It has you obviously check for power to the coil when the key is on, which I had. Then it has you check this black and white wire from here to here, make sure it's got continuity. It did. And you have to go in here and trip one of these wires, the coil wire disconnected, to see if you got spark. So I took the wire off of there. I went to the master right there. I held it away a little bit. Back probe the connector here, and it has you take a test light and you go to ground on the battery, which is all the way over there. And I did that. And I had spark. It wasn't a fantastic spark. I would think you get a nice crisp blast from the coil. It was okay, but it just wasn't fantastic. All right, anyway, I go through the whole test, and it tells me, okay, you got a bad igniter. Okay, that's a common failure on these. At least it was way back in the 90s and late 80s, I guess, when they really used those things. I haven't replaced one in, 30 years. So I get a new igniter. Like I said, this piece right here. And I replace it. You got to make sure it's grounded good, and I did check the continuity ground. I did do a voltage drop test. Everything was fine. So I go ahead and I replace it. No spark. Okay. So I go through my tests all over again. Just want to verify. Maybe I missed something. I go through my tests all over again. I just verify everything. Tells me I got a bad igniter. Okay, it's possible. I get another one. Different parts store. Same problem. No spark. All right. I go through my tests all over again. And I go back to the coil and I'm like, you know what? That spark is a little weak. Maybe while I'm cranking it and it has to repeatedly spark quickly, maybe it just can't keep up. All right. I don't know. So put another coil in it. Same thing. No spark. But now when I do the test, and I can actually physically see the test by jumping the coil, or jumping the igniter rather, it definitely has a better spark. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave the coil on there. But doing the test, it tells me I got a bad igniter. I get another igniter, put it on. Guess what? No spark. Now I'm pulling my hair out. Not much up there, but pulling it out. Still no spark. I go through all my tests, and I can't figure this out. I'm like, what on earth is going on? So I wind up getting another igniter from another parts store in another town because one of my guys was out there. So I had him pick one up. I get that, I put it on, bingo, starts. So 3 bad igniters out of the box. Let me show you. Now this is the igniter. Even tells you it's an igniter. It's just a little ECU, that's all it is. Just controls spark. So there's that. That's the original one from 1992. Here's the coil, original coil from 1992. So the guy was totally okay with it. I convinced him to go for a tune-up. Look at that. Who knows how long that was in there for. These plugs are hammered. I mean, I've seen worse, but these are pretty bad. These are, hello, focus. These are pretty bad. So anyway, he goes for cap, rotor, wires, and plugs. Put them all in, and it runs pretty good, actually. This thing doesn't have a terrible amount of mileage on it, not terribly high, rather. But anyway, that's just it. I just wanted to go over that with you. That sometimes you do everything right, and your diagnosis is correct, but your parts are no good, and it'll drive you crazy because you start doubting yourself. But anyway, so this is up and running. This is good, and I'm happy because now I get to deliver it, and the customer gets his vehicle back. So anyway, that's about it. Hope you guys are going to have a great Labor Day weekend. Enjoy. Keep wrenching. Almost forgot to say it.